Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council and staff that are joining us this evening. First off, I'm going to ask you to bear with us. We are back in chambers today, making sure that the equipment is working. This is for the Committee of Adjustments, and we do have a council member who is coming in remotely. So if we have the odd glitch, bear with us, we'll work this out. With that, I will call the meeting to order. An adoption, please, of the agenda. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kaiser, seconded by Councillor Pennell. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion. Motion is carried. Thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Seeing none. I need a motion, please, for the adoption of the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment for April the 5th, 2022, as prepared. Councillor Richardson, Councillor Norrie. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion. Land severance application 5.1, land severance application PLCOR 2021-094 F&B Homes, 5755 County Road 9, legal description part lot 1, concession 4, North Fredericksburg. Is there anyone here speaking for? Is there anyone here speaking against? It's been a long time since I've been able to look out at chairs that I might have somebody answer to us. Michael, would you like to speak to this before we discuss and make a decision on it, please?
Yes, thank you, Worship. I would like to note we've slightly modified the notices, and we're encouraging individuals to register if they wish to come to the meeting, just to alert staff that we are to be anticipating individuals. Not a requirement, just an encouragement. So we haven't received any requests for individuals to speak for or against any of the applications this evening.
Good, thank you.
The item 5.1 in front of the committee at the moment was deferred from a meeting previously. We were awaiting test holes for the potential to install a sewage system. That was has now been completed, that the frost is out of the ground, and it was determined that the lot is certainly capable of accommodating a sewage system on the property. Due to the density of the development in the area, we are recommending that a hydrogeological review be undertaken. We've played around with the wording here slightly at a staff level, that rather than it always having to be a full-blown study, we're making it such that it's more of a review where a hydrogeologist is engaged, and if they're able to determine from water yields and testing of the water for quality and review of geological features in the area and well records from neighboring properties, if they feel that it's not necessary to complete a full-blown study, we're leaving the wording slightly open in that sense. But if it is an area where there's potential sensitivity for hydrogeological impacts, we're leaving it open such that it's, we would need a full-blown study in that instance. So just wanted to bring that to the committee's attention. We have proposed slightly modified wording to that effect. We have noticed that we've put this condition on for some properties, and there's been a lot of water in the area where we don't need a full-blown study, but more of a desktop type review, just to ensure we're not going to cause negative impacts to neighboring properties. So if there's any questions, I'd certainly be open to answering those.
Councillor McCormack.
Thank you, Worship. I'm just curious as to what cost savings are involved in that kind of difference.
It depends on the firm doing the work. I mean, if you have a sole proprietor who is kind of like a mom and pop shop, but is a qualified individual, they might charge a little less than a larger outfit. You could be looking in the range of $5,000 to $10,000 for a full-blown study, and maybe in the $2,500 to $3,000 for more of a desktop type review. It's give or take, but that's kind of the numbers we've been hearing from individuals.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else from council? If not, council, you do have a recommendation before you to receive for information the technical report regarding this application, and further that the application to sever a lot 2 hectare in area from the 3.75 hectare rural property be granted, subject to the conditions as contained in your agenda. Council's wishes. Moved for staff recommendation by Councillor Pennell, seconded by Councillor McCormack. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion? Sorry, go ahead.
Your Worship, if I could just make a comment. Typically, we wouldn't require a well to be installed on a property greater than 2 hectares in area. However, in this instance, although the property is 2 hectares in overall property boundary, like legal boundaries, there is floodplain on the property, so it reduces the building envelope, unfortunately. So it still meets the minimum requirements under zoning for the net developable area. However, given that fact, we're recommending the installation of the well in that instance. So just wanted to clarify that for the committee.
Thank you. I do, Councillor Johnson, I know that you're on a bit of a delay coming in with us. Were you voting in favor of that? Councillor Johnson, can you hear me?
Sorry, she did indicate that the audio is better over YouTube than on Zoom, so she may have a slight lag on audio.
Okay, so it's the lag then, so she was voting in favor. Okay, all in favor of the motion then, please?
Yes, that was approved.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ellen. Thank you. And I'm trying to watch her, and you're in a little corner of,
Yes,
of the screen.
I can. When approved, severance was approved.
Okay, thank you. 5.2, land severance application, PLCOR 2022-016, Bushel, is that Bushel, is that the way that it's said? 2960 County Road 9, legal description, part lot 15, concession 5, Adolphustown. Is there anyone here speaking for? Is there anyone here speaking against? Let the record show that there is no one here speaking for or against. Michael, I'll let you speak to this, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This application is seeking to create a 0.9 hectare lot, so a residential sized lot. There was the one barn in the vicinity that had an impact on the potential consent here was on the retained lands. The owner does have a small number of horses that he houses in the barn on the property. The review was undertaken by a planning consultant and was reviewed by staff, and staff are certainly in agreement with the calculations performed. And it did have an impact on the overall configuration of the lot. However, certainly meets the minimum setback. So originally the applicant wanted a little more lot frontage, but based on where the most easterly lot line would have landed, it would have been at the limit of the minimum required MDS1 setback. So they shrunk the lot frontage slightly, but it still meets, certainly meets the minimum for residential frontage in the area. And the rear lot line is in alignment with the lots to the west. There are two lots located just to the west as well. So we encourage that continuity between the lot lines just for privacy purposes, etc.
Okay. Any questions to Michael on this application? Seeing none, you do have a recommendation before you to receive for information the technical report, and further that the application to sever 0.9 hectare lot be approved subject to the conditions as contained within your agenda. Council's wishes. Moved by Councillor Richardson, seconded by Councillor Pennell. It appears we may have lost. Yeah, okay. All in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. 5.3, land severance application, PLCOR 2022-020, A Boston, County Road 8, Lot 1, east of 4312, County Road 8, legal description, part Lot 6, concession 2, South Fredericksburg. Is there anyone here speaking for, and is there anyone here speaking against? Let the record show that there is no one speaking for or against. Michael, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Item 5.3 and 5.4 are essentially the same. There are two lots proposed to be located side by side. These are lands near the intersection of County Road 8 and County Road 25, proposed on the north side of County Road 8. It's in an area zone, currently rural residential, and designated rural in the official plan. Lands on the westerly side of County Road 25 are are designated prime agricultural and zoned as such as well. So there's a cluster of rural residential lands in this area. So staff are certainly supportive of the proposal as it aligns with policy. This one also is triggering the need for hydrogeological review to some effect. I was going to mention for the previous application, we do believe that the item 5.2 will likely require a full study, as where the committee required a hydrogeological study for a previous application last year. We received those test results, and it was a touchy area actually. So we think that this one's going to that item 5.2 is likely going to need a full study. Hard to say with items 5.3 and 5.4. But we'll certainly assess that at the time that it's reviewed by the hydrogeologist. So I don't have anything else to add. The county does have a very specific road widening requirement as condition 7 in both items. And the applicant has not raised any concern to that effect. It's just slightly different wording than the committee may be used to seeing. I just wanted to point that out there.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Any questions of Michael on this one? We'll do them individually, but it sounds like they're very much the same. Seeing none, you do have a recommendation before you, staff recommendation by Councillor McCormack, seconded by Councillor Norrie. If there are no further comments or questions, all in favor of the motion? Motion is carried from the councillors within the room. 5.4. Michael, you're saying that this, again, anyone speaking for and against, let the record show that there is no one speaking for or against. 5.4, very much the same. Any difference that you would like to point out with that one, Michael, before we consider it, please?
No additional information.
Okay, council, you do have the report before you with the recommendation to approve. Moved by Councillor Pennell, seconded by Councillor Richardson. If there are no further comments or questions, all in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. And that brings us to a motion for adjournment. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kaiser, seconded by Councillor McCormack. All in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Regular session of council will begin at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much.